My dad, he was a hard worker. We grew up in Maryland, and he had cattle and chickens and dogs, and on top of that had 3 jobs. He was always doing things. In December of 2024, everything goes downhill.
Got off work, called my daughter Heather and said, felt like my heart was gonna jump out of my chest. And she said, I'm coming to get you. My daughter brought me to HCA Florida Brandon Hospital. I didn't know my name. My daughter Heather looked at her and said, that's not my dad. Please get him tested, something's wrong.
He had developed a real problem with his heart, and he was now in extreme congestive heart failure, also cardiogenic shock.
Finally, at one point, they said, whoever you want to come in should come in and say their goodbyes.
The last thing I remember was grabbing my daughter's hand and looked in her eyes and said, Heather, I do not want to die.
And he said, I love you, and he winked. And I said, I love you too. Within an hour, I get a phone call that he went into cardiac arrest.
And then the doctors came in and said that I wasn't even a candidate for an operation, that I'm so sick.
And in walks Dr. Bufkin. And Dr. Bufkin says, we're doing the surgery.
We made a decision that he was a reasonable candidate for transcatheter aortic valve replacement instead of conventional cardiac surgery where we open you up through the breastbone. Using a catheter-based approach, we go through the blood vessels that carry blood to your heart and the rest of your body. On that catheter, a valve is mounted, and then a balloon is expanded, which pushes the old valve material out of the way and leaves you with a functioning valve.
Evie and Dr. Bufkin came out, sat next to me, and they said, surgery was a success.
And I went to the rehabilitation wing. They told me I could stay up there for 3 months or I could be out in 10 days.
I saw that he had a strong spirit and that I was gonna nurse him back to health, be there to hold his hand. I got to see him when he was at his very worst. And then a few days later, I got to, that's the same guy? That's Greg? It was great.
On the 8th day, my head therapist said, I'm getting you out of here. You don't need us no more.
When he got out of rehab, he was done physical therapy at home in 2 weeks.
They told me that there was a surprise nurse here. I seen Kellie standing there and I was like, yeah. And I just hugged her.
It was amazing to see him today, walking and talking and not needing a walker. And to see that, it makes me want to go back to work.
To hear patients tell you about being given a second chance, I mean, that's why we do this. It's not just one person, it's everybody being part of it.
I would like to thank the whole staff at HCA Florida Brandon Hospital. Thank you, thank you, thank you.